Have you ever felt lost, untethered, searching for something more? Welcome to Angelic Footprints, where the spirit meets the road on a journey to self-healing and rediscovery. I'm Dagmar, your host, psychic medium and seasoned traveler. Each week we'll explore the world of angels and personal transformation. We're going to dive into compelling histories and captivating mythology. You're going to hear remarkable, real-life angel encounters and discover how you too can connect with the angels guiding your path. Whether it's through practical tips, meditation techniques, or stories that resonate deeply, Angelic Footprints is here to light your way. From mystical journeys to profound self-discovery, let's embark on this transformative journey together. Are you ready to find your angelic guide? Then subscribe to Angelic Footprints today and step into a world where angels walk beside you every step of the way. Angels, spirituality, healing. Let's ignite your transformation. Welcome, everybody, and thank you for joining us to another episode of Angelic Footprints. And today I have a very special guest with me. Her name is Shillpi, and her business is Awakening with Shillpi. Now, Shillpi is a modern-day spiritual alchemist on a quest to transmute life's experiences into profound wisdom and enlightenment. She has 22 years of experience as a psychic and clairvoyant guide, and she leads seekers on a transformative journey of self-discovery and spiritual growth. This entails exploring the alchemy of the soul, unlocking the secrets of inner transformation and empowerment. How powerful is that? Shillpi inspires others to awaken their true potential and embrace the magic of spiritual alchemy in their lives. She holds that beautiful space for you while you lead on to discover your light within. Shillpi, it's such an honor to have you on the show. Thank you so much for making time for today's show. And I'd love you to tell us a little bit about yourself and maybe even something about your angelic experiences.
Hi, Dagmar. First of all, thank you for having me. Absolute pleasure. I'm Shillpi. I play a lot of roles. I'm a mother, I'm a daughter, but most importantly, I feel and I agree that I'm a vessel of light. I'm a beautiful channel. And the journey began when I was learning to navigate life. And I was in my medical college when I started getting visions, messages, and guidance because I really needed to know where is this life going. The world didn't make sense. Outside was all chaos. And that's when I reached out and said, is there anybody who can guide me? And that's when I started hearing and getting visions. Now, of course, there have been many, many experiences, but let me come down to the most beautiful ones that really resonate every time I sit down and doubt the support system that I have around. I do remember once I was driving down the highway, my car broke down. I was in the middle of a 6-lane highway, and then suddenly somebody knocks at the window and says, it is India. India is unsafe. It was 10:30 in the night. And the gentleman says, there's something wrong with your spark plug. Can I drop you? Your house is just 10 minutes away. I was like, you're scared. And then I kind of allowed him because there was no other way. I'm in the middle of a flyover. So he drops us home and I see him and he turns around. I said, thank you. And he says, don't worry. It'll just take a 5-minute thing, $20. It's a spark plug. By the time I can turn around and say, thank you, he's gone. And my dad comes and says, how did you know it's a spark plug? And that's when I was like, where did that guy meet you? I said, on the flyover. He said, how come? So, that was one of the first instances I remember when it could have been very dangerous for me to be out there in the middle, literally at 11 at night. That was one of the most beautiful experiences I had. Further on, I remember I was standing on a beach, very awed by I love the sea, did not realize a massive wave coming in, and it literally pulled me away with it. It was a 10-foot wave. And I remember I thought, this is it. And then out of nowhere, something caught my hand with my bag and everything in that hand. And the wave passed by. And when I realized, there was a pillar that I was holding. Now, strangely enough, there was no pillar when I was standing there. If it was way out of my line of where I would have been taken, by the way, because I wasn't standing next to a pillar. I had so much sand that day, in my hair and all. And while I was showering, I just heard, it wasn't your time yet. And I was like, okay. And I was, that's the first time I realized that I am guided, protected. And so I literally offered gratitude. I was
Wow.
that time. And I think that's when a two-way relationship began, where I would, it's almost like, how do you build up a relationship with a stranger? You kind of acknowledge, nod, and then you kind of build a two-way. Oh, thank you, for doing this for me. It's nice to see you. And that's how all of us can build that relationship, because all of us have access to angels around us. They're all around us.
Well, that's absolutely right. And thank you. Thank you for sharing, because it's not until we get those moments where all of a sudden something profound happens. And you've just told us two profound stories of experiences that happened to you. Tell me, how have you brought that into the work that you do, and how has this affected your life?
The experiences then took me to actually my pregnancies and motherhood. And I do believe that the souls that came in as my children were preparing me to handle them. So it's all about your inner work, your work, and then that adds an extension to what you can offer to the world. Because it's not about me giving out something to the world. It's about me fulfilling it so much that I overflow and it kind of impacts everybody. So that's how I work. And I did have a profound experience with both my pregnancies, where one I was wheeled out with somebody, with a guy introducing himself as an anesthetist with blue eyes. And when I went to thank back, they said there's no anesthetist with blue eyes. The second one was I had a miscarriage in between both my kids. The DNC, when it finished at 14 weeks, I had this vision of an angel in blue on my periphery saying, I'll come back in so-and-so month, and now you'll be ready for me. So I knew that there is a soul coming in who really requires me to step up. And because that miscarriage was because of no heartbeat, post that, when I conceived exactly the month that I'd heard in, I saw hearts literally like somebody coming from the gym with sweat. I would see, if I'm making a bread, it'll turn into a heart. And that was their way of saying, don't worry, the heartbeat is fine, the time is right, you don't have to worry. And that then began, Dagmar, into me realizing that life is full of challenges, but I have support, I am supported, and I'm guarded, provided I have faith and complete surrender, and I remember to ask.
Oh, I love that. It's the key, isn't it? Because in one of the episodes that I'm going to be doing, it is about learning to ask, isn't it? One of the first keys is recognizing angels are working with us, but then also remembering to ask for help, because I'm sure that you've got loads more stories of when you've asked and you've received help. Would you like to share one of those with us, about asking for help and then receiving that help?
So two of them, a few years ago, I was sitting outside my kid's school and I was speaking to a mom, and she said, what do you do? I'm an angel intuitive. And then, I explained everything to her, got into the car and said, I hope, I've seen you, it is. And then suddenly, Dagmar, somebody calls out to me, beautiful lady, like really gorgeous. And she says, hello, and whiff. And the moment I turn back, there's nobody. And there's no way somebody can just vanish, because it's a massive U-turn. There's no car parking. And I was like, okay. And then I remember the second time, doubt is always there until you completely surrender. Praying and doing my regular thing around the water lake here. And then I said, okay, if I'm really guarded and supported, I need a rubber band because I'm not going to walk without my open hair. And I've forgotten my hair tie today. And there's only black hair ties that I use. You would not believe. I saw one right there on the path. Of course, I didn't pick it up. And then I just kind of crossed it and said, I heard you asked for one. Right there it is.
Mm,
There is no scope of doubt again. All
yeah.
right. And that was it. No more testing, only complete faith and surrender. Willing to ask.
Well, that's the thing. And it's funny that you should say that because I've got a story like that as well. I remember one time, actually asking, because I, like you, have a deep connection to Archangel Michael. And I know that you and I had this conversation before we started the recording. And quite a few years ago now, I was living in my house in Melbourne, in Australia. And I asked Archangel Michael, is it possible to see him? And on this one occasion, I remember I always go for my walk in the morning. And on this one occasion, because the road was a double divided road, but there was a pedestrian section where you stop in the middle. And there was this guy standing beside me, all of a sudden came out of nowhere, really super tall.
Wow.
Blondish hair, quite short, but he had those, they have those jeans on that are quite baggy. He had his baggy jeans on and his T-shirt, and he's walking beside me as we cross the first section of road. And we're both standing in the middle because we're waiting for the next section to get clear. And he sort of looks at me, smiles, and then walks across the road. And I'm looking at him, and he just gives me this big smile. And then I go to walk along, and then I look back at him, and he's crossed the road. And on the other side of the road is like a bus stop that is completely clear perspex, but he's crossed the road back again and disappeared. Disappeared. And I'm going, I know who you were. It was just this instant realization. Oh my goodness, you showed yourself to me. I asked, there you are. And
wow,
this is the reason we're having, these conversations, you and me. And I want our listeners to realize that they too can have these experiences and just know how to ask. In terms of anything that you would like, what is it that you would like to share with our listeners about angels or angelic experiences? Is there, if you had the opportunity to say, what is one thing that you would like to impart to our listeners, what would that be?
You're very well supported. You're very well guarded and protected. All you need is complete faith and surrender. I cannot emphasize, it might be a repetition, Dagmar, but unless there's faith and complete surrender, there is no way forward. And I'm sure a lot of us have had those experiences, but maybe they've not registered because we've had that self-doubt. So when we talk about spiritual alchemy, it's transforming that energy of self-doubt, fear, limiting beliefs to an energy of knowing. You're here for a reason. There's only one of you on this entire planet with your energy. So you are special. You have your guardian angels with you. So do not worry. Do not operate out of fear. Can you just come back to yourself and, ask for guidance? Ask for them like you asked him to show up. I always do that. Initially, when I was channeling, I would always say, can you show me I'm ready? And I literally would, hear flap. I could hear the wings behind me. Sometimes when I was doubtful of, when I was driving, I would say, are you around me? And I would literally, feel those wings. So it's so beautiful. Once you open up to that world, it's magic.
I would agree 100%. It is, isn't it? It is that magic that you get to experience in your life. And it is about opening up to that, because what you said is absolutely true. And thank you for sharing that message. It is about opening up, coming back to yourself, because we are spiritual beings living a physical life. And yet so many people forget that side of themselves, who never talk about that, only focusing, I've got to do this, I've got to finish this, I've got all these jobs to do, and never taking time to come back to center. Correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's very easy, Dagmar. It is very fast-paced life. There's so much exposure. There's so much fear because you're constantly kind of on the social media and obviously what is put out there is what grabs attention. So that's another way of me being here. Like I told you, let's put it out there so that instead of focusing on what's not going right, let's focus on the glimmers and the sparkles. And honestly, the glimmer and the sparkle in my life are these angelic experiences. The fact that I know no matter how difficult or challenging a situation is, I have this support. I'll ask for it. Of course, it's me who's going to go through it. But then you're not alone.
Well, we all have challenging experiences. I mean, that's what we're here for, isn't it? That's part of our journey. Shillpi, thank you so much for sharing your beautiful story. Tell me and our listeners, please, what is it that you do for your clients so that in case, I'm hoping that people will want to get in touch with you. What is it that you can help people with?
Dagmar, I am an angel intuitive. I'm a clairvoyant. I bring forth messages from your spirit guides, your angels, your guardian angels, your higher consciousness to, guide you on where you are in your journey. So most of the people who come to me, when you think of these things when you're stuck. So when you're stuck, you come to me and I say, all right, you are stuck. Let's see why you're stuck. Let's transform that energy of stuck coming from fear, self-doubt, those limiting beliefs, to all the energy of the events that's happened that's brought down your faith in yourself and faith in your ability to, go forth in life. And then, of course, when the validations come and the messages that come from the guides and the angels about what I wouldn't know about their life unless I could really have access to angels and their Akashic records, completely transforms the energy that they come, and then it's a lot of validation that comes forth. So basically just awaken, hold the space while you awaken the healer in yourself and are back on your feet to ask for guidance and look for the signs so that you can navigate your life on your own.
Oh, Shillpi, thank you. Well, just to round off on that, can you please tell people how they can connect with you?
They can connect with me on www.awakeningwithshilpi.com. Shilpi is with a double L. Same for the Facebook, same for the Instagram. All of these medias, you have an option to message me. You can email me on awakeningwithshilpi@gmail.com. And most importantly, if you're meant to connect with me, angels are at work, so that'll happen on its own as well.
Oh, that is so beautiful. Well, thank you so much for spending today with us and our listeners. And I hope that if you are drawn to connect with Shillpi, to get her to help you with your own awakening, then please do get in touch. I will be putting Shillpi's details onto the website so that you can connect with her. And it's been such a blessing to have you here to share your story. And thank you once again. I wish you all the very best, Shillpi. Blessings.
Likewise, Dagmar. Thank you so much for having me. Absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
In the meantime, if you found this episode valuable, please share information about the show with 3 people who you believe would find it beneficial. If you enjoyed the show, please consider leaving a 5-star review on the platform where you're listening. Until the next episode, blessings, and may your life be filled with hope and inspiration.